Shout
I
out to
can't
our
wait.
sponsor of today.
Mhm.
Today's sponsor is brought to you by TB3 Hookah. You see me smoking on the hookah. That's thank you to our supplier, Jersey's #1 online hookah retailer. With their vast variety of flavors, coals, and hookahs, and so much more, they make the priority to satisfy all of your hookah essentials. Enjoy all of your favorite products in no time with their fast, easy shipping. Here at TB3 Hookah, you are a priority. Use this code TRUST to save 10% on your next TB3 hookah order. Again, that's TRUST for 10% off your order. Now in Jersey, especially if you're in South Jersey, this is your guy to use. I would say when I deal with prices down here, you always deal with the upkeep of we don't play up north prices. Up north prices are always better than South Jersey prices. So if you're looking for a amazing retailer, he has all the products, and if he doesn't, you can easily DM him and he can get that for you. Any of your needs. So please, again, use code TRUST for 10% off. The website is below, but if you're listening, it is www.tb3hookah.com. www.tb3hookah.com. Use code TRUST for 10% off. I'm going to take this, John.
Are we recording? I see it says recording, but I just want to make. I don't think I. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we've been started recording. I'm going to take this, John, completely differently than what we do every week. We can do score recaps, but I think we should start doing some here and there. Like, let's just talk about the news around the league and what's precedent to us instead of doing like just all the score recaps.
I agree.
But welcome to another episode in Those We Trust podcast. My name is Malik Howard. Of course, again in the building, Liam Stokes here with me.
What's up, Lee?
For our week, what is it, 6 or 7? Trust Sports. This is a big weekend, and a weekend. Liam, I'm not gonna lie to you. After Saturday, I didn't watch football.
No, I wouldn't if I were you. I mean, on my end, it was a very enjoyable game, but I understand how you feel.
Why do you have such hate for Ohio State?
Listen, I was rooting for a good game. I think I texted you that I bet the over in points, and that hit wonderfully. And listen, it's no hate. It's just good football that I was rooting for, and I got a good game.
It really wasn't a good game, though.
It was pretty back and forth. I mean, if Ohio State was a little better, it would have been tighter. But I guess some teams are built for the big moment, and others aren't, and that's fine. That's fine.
I'll give it to you. Hold on, let me dust out the forehead, the stress from work. All right, so I'm gonna hop on my soapbox here.
Yep.
Where to begin? Oh, I told Kat, I said if I had $1 million, I would have broke my TV. If I was wealthy enough, I had savings, my TV would have been broken. I actually had a broken cup in my house, and Kat wanted to go out. So after the game, I took this cup to the trash and threw it as hard as I could, this glass cup, into the trash. I just had to break something. Something had to be broken after this game. This exemplifies what it means to hate Michigan for me. Again, like we talked last week, like I never had to hate Michigan. I understood like Potter at Palmer High School. He was a huge Ohio State fan, and he would talk about. I would talk to him like, I like all college football, but I love Ohio State, but I didn't have the hate for Michigan. These are the moments where it breeds you, right? Either you're on the one scope of the game where you go 10 years straight losing. I mean, we've been 9-1 going forward, right? So you go 9 years losing to Ohio State, and that could breed a Michigan fans hate. Or you're on my side of it, to where you breed the hate of Michigan of losing to them in back-to-back years, right? So where we look at this score, the score ended up being 23-45. The game, in my eyes, didn't feel that way, the score. I forgot the score was that crazy because in my eyes, that didn't happen until like the end of the fourth quarter to where it got just crazy like that. Yeah. When I look at the Michigan had 28 second-half points to Ohio State's 3. That is a telltale in itself of what we should be looking forward to. Now, I'll give it to you. What would you rather let's talk to? Do we want to start with Ryan Day or C.J. Stroud?
Well, listen, I would love to I thought more about it. I know we texted back and forth about this. I've come down a little bit on my Ryan Day hate. Again, I'm not an Ohio State guy. As a college football fan, I think I was texting you like maybe it's time to look at the coach. I backed off that a little bit. So I know you might be still hot and ready to go. But I love to hear your point. And again, we did talk about this last week that, during your lifetime of Ohio State fandom, I don't even know if Michigan, you're right, maybe only won one time. And it was probably a fluke win, right? So you're like, oh, it's Michigan, Ohio State. It's awesome. But now you have that hate. So it's that, again, that's why we love and hate sports at the same time. But let's start with CJ Stroud, because I think Saturday he probably lost the Heisman Trophy. So let's start with him.
Yeah. So he definitely lost the Heisman Trophy. That's what I was saying, talking to Kat. I was like, well, there goes your Heisman Trophy, right? Yep. There it goes right there. It's gone. This is where it breathes fire, and this is where I think that Hurts, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, where they're beautiful in these things. These are great quarterbacks that have dealt with some defeat, right? But in the face of defeat, still hold a little bit of poise. And a month's amount of poise in a game, right? CJ Stroud, was the first time we kind of seen him reacting to coaching a little bit. You never really saw his reaction to coaching when I would say the turning point in the game is when we punted on third down. I think it was going into halftime, was it? Or no, it was coming out of halftime. One of those things. It was a pivotal point in the game where Ryan Day – it was third quarter, because it was like at this point the game could go either direction, right? It was – do we take over the game or do we allow, put it in our defensive hand? And then that's when they had that tight end bomb down the field. That, to me, was the first time we see CJ Stroud kind of show some negative emotion to coaching. In my eyes, CJ Stroud played okay. I didn't see him make, those last picks were him forcing it to win a game. That doesn't mean shit to me, right? But I don't think he played a bad game. But in that game, you have to play your best self. There was a lot of times where I felt that he was being very reserved and he wasn't running the ball. Take off. I was like, CJ Stroud, you are a running quarterback. Take off. Take off. Don't throw it out of bounds. Get us our yards, make some plays, slow that defense down, because that defense already had the hypeness that we're stopping CJ Stroud in the passing game.
Yes.
So if they believe that, take it off on your feet. Take off. Make some plays. Show them that. Put that energy back into the offense. Oh, shit. Make them think now we have to have a spy. Now that opens up a long field touchdown for us. That opens up our whole offense. And I think that he played too safe, in my opinion, and that's what lost him the Heisman Trophy. And that's what lost this game. I think he didn't go into that game with hunger in comparison to bitch-ass Michigan's coach, QB. What's his name?
Yeah.
What is his name?
Is that McCarthy? J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, and we'll talk about it too, he sucks in my opinion, but he went into it with hunger. He wanted to W more than we wanted that W. So that's where I say that C.J. Stroud lost it. Does this affect his draft now? And that was what I was looking at. What do you think?
Right. So I probably not. He'll probably still be the first quarterback taken this year. He very well may be the number one overall pick to Houston. But no, I agree with you. And did he play bad? No, he didn't play bad, but you're talking about the number one pick, the potential Heisman Trophy winner in the biggest rivalry in all of college sports, not just college football. I think in all college sports, you look at the Duke UNC, and it's in basketball, and you look at Ohio State Michigan. This was your game, and not only that, this was your revenge game from last year when Michigan dominated you. This was your chance to clinch a playoff berth, because now from what I'm hearing, Michigan could go out and drop a clunker in the Big Ten championship game. It doesn't matter. They're in. And as of right now, I don't see Ohio State getting back in. So this was your chance as the guy to go and do it, and playing not bad just can't happen.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like you said, you brought up J.J. McCarthy. Without Michigan's Heisman candidate, Blake Corum, the running back, he needed to play near flawless, and you can make the argument that he did. Regardless of, the negatives that we want to put on this Ohio State defense, he played near flawless for what he is. And, again, I think if you're an Ohio State fan, this is disappointing. You had this game circled for over a year. We both thought they were going to go in there and make a statement. Michigan's banged up. Ohio State was missing some guys. I get that. But, this was the game. And C.J. Stroud not stepping up. I'm not an Ohio State fan like you, but it has to be just so deflating to see your guy, your quarterback, your star shrink a little bit in that moment.
Yeah, he did in that moment, right? And this is where I think it's up where people don't understand what this rivalry means, right? At the end of the game, legit posted within 24 hours, 2 of our recruits signed with Michigan that were there for Ohio State. So it's bigger than just a rivalry. It's bigger than what it is. It's not just beating Michigan, but the way a team vibes on the sideline, seeing ass whooping. I'm not playing for that team. Yeah. These are high school kids. You gotta remember, these are high school fucking kids that are like, fuck, I just saw Ohio State. This is 2 years in a row. I just seen Ohio State get their ass busted by Michigan. And Michigan played with some swagger. Let's move into Ryan Day. When I look at Ryan Day, I think who took the biggest L? Ohio State football players are coaching. I think the coaches took the biggest L in my eyes. We weren't beat by talent. I don't think we were beat by talent at all. We were beat by defensive coaching and offensive play calling. That offensive coordinator made that quarterback look fucking amazing. The play calling we had no safety for fucking 4 of their touchdowns. There was no one in the middle.
It never changed. That was what drove me crazy. Was this game is a game of adjustments, and nothing changed on the Ohio State side. They were getting burned all day long, and nothing changed.
Burnt, and there was no overhead. Like, stop nothing. Fucking this man.
They were losing. They're losing every time. And again, you and I think we were texting when we're watching this quarterback play. Again, fucking credit to him. He's playing on debatably the best team in the nation right now.
Yeah.
But he's not C.J. Stroud talent. He's not Bryce Young talent. He's not these guys, at least yet. Maybe he will be. I don't fucking know. I doubt it.
Hell no.
But they made him look even better. Yeah. And, to not change something is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me.
I mean, we stayed in man and were beat for, I would say, a minimum of 20-yard bombs.
How do you go into halftime and not adjust?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Trust me, I was freaking the fuck out. Ohio State made no adjustments for these 20-yard bombs with no overhead safety covers, right? And this is why I say that McCarthy sucks. Go back and watch those touchdowns. Those wide receivers were waiting for the ball. That's how wide open they fucking were. Yeah. The wide receivers and tight ends were waiting, catching it, and still weren't touched and scoring. Yeah. That's how they were so fucking wide open. Now how much he sucks. If you watch that first half team, and I knew Michigan is a second half team. If you look at the statistics of them all throughout
all year, right?
They're a second half team, right? But I was not worried about it with adjustments being made. That there's no way our offense should have made adjustments. Ryan the other sideline looked like shit. Urban Meyer looked more pissed off than fucking Ryan Day, and that's where I had the problem with Ryan Day. Ryan Day, it makes you question now: can he win us the big game? Can he win us the national championship? And can he beat Michigan? Because when you coach in Ohio State, that's all it's about: national championship, 100%. Beat Michigan, right? Can he get that achieved? How long has he been here?
It's been a few years, but again, I mean, we go back to
who are those players coming off of? That's Urban Meyer players. These are all
that's one of my arguments, and it's the question of being born on third base, right? Like you had the keys to a Cadillac handed to you, and you're crashing it right now. And again, even the couple wins against Michigan, like Jim Harbaugh has turned that program now into a national powerhouse, and he's turned a Michigan program that was getting the floor wiped with them, not only by Ohio State, but by a majority of the Big Ten. Like, they were not a good team by any means. And he's completely shifted that culture around back to the, dominance that Michigan fans are used to, as where Ryan Day, like you just said, inherited the facilities, the players, some of the coaches on the staff. And yet here we are having this conversation for the second consecutive year of not only losing to Michigan, but completely being dominated by them back-to-back years.
Yeah, last year we lost, right? It was a loss that we had to fester. Like, okay, this one hurts more in a sense of how we went out. We went out at home. We haven't lost at home in 11 years versus Michigan, right? We lose 2 years back-to-back. I don't know, when was the last time we lost back-to-back?
I think it was 99, 2000, they said. Tom Brady was the quarterback for Michigan last time that they went back.
Yeah, you don't mind losing those, right? You don't mind losing those to the greatest fucking football player of all time, right? But I think it's up for debate too that it makes me angry to sit back and be like, with all the talent and all the domination we've had all year, that Michigan team to me was not even the best Michigan team I've seen. They didn't have their running game. They didn't have their Heisman guy. They didn't have anything. It was just straight up outbeat you coaching. And that's what hurts you even more, because it's like, fix this shit. Fix the offense. Fix the defense. Like, fix this shit. No one was fixing it. You don't have fucking Hutchinson coming off the side. We lost last year where they had the best defense in fucking college football.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what we lost. They didn't have that this year. They just had guys that were willing to fucking beat Ohio State at home and were hungry enough to beat it. Now, when I look at will I support Michigan going forward with the Big Ten in the Big Ten championship and possibly going to playoffs, I think still to this day, even losing Michigan like this, no one has a chance of beating Georgia or anyone like that besides Ohio State. And I'm just being honest. It could be my bias.
I would completely disagree, but I would love to let you have the floor.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you think takes down Georgia?
The team that just waxed Ohio State on Saturday.
Well,
they're continuing to show me. No, go ahead, have the floor.
No, go, Liam. I'll take this. I'll just say I'll take this bet with you right now. If it comes out of Georgia, Michigan, it would be the same score as Ohio State just went through.
I disagree. I look at a team that just went into what you are saying the best team in the country's house in the biggest rival, right? Because you're telling me, oh, if Ohio State can beat Georgia, they're the best team in the nation, right? I saw the team go in to a hostile environment, biggest rivalry in all of college football, without their best player that they have been riding the entire season, and not only win a game, but completely dominate the entire second half to where it wasn't even watchable. So, yes, I'm going to say I don't know if they will, but I'm looking at the rest of these teams right now. The TCU, they're a cool story. I want to make an argument for USC because they're a lot of fun, and Caleb Williams I think is that good of a quarterback.
He is a great quarterback.
At the least, like I'll put my money on any quarterback that's showing me flashes like that. I'm looking at an all-around team. I'm also watching a Georgia team that I don't think they're nearly as good as that championship team was last year. I definitely think that they're beatable. You can catch them on a bad day. I've seen a couple of their games where they've just looked flat. The entire first half against Georgia Tech this past weekend, nobody was talking about because it's Ohio State, Michigan. That was like a 10-7 game at halftime. Like they are not dominating people like they used to. That Kentucky game a couple weeks ago was close. So, again, they may shut me up and win both games 45-0. They very well may do that. But I think they're a very beatable team. And Michigan, from what they've been showing us all year long, 12-0, dominated Ohio State. It's tough not to say that they would probably be at the top of the list of teams that can beat Georgia.
Here's where you're wrong. You're completely wrong. Georgia in the big game, what did they do to Tennessee? Tennessee was all hail Tennessee. Tennessee was going to come out and just destroy everyone. Completely embarrass them at Tennessee, right? Georgia has no chance of losing to anyone going forward. This bracket right here is the easy W for Georgia. Georgia is looking at this shit like, we're taking this. Yeah. Like, holy shit. Ohio State just got bumped out. I promise you they're more concerned with Ohio State than they are with Michigan. I can guarantee you that. And that may be my fan bias, maybe what it is. Because I come from talent-wise. And also, when I think of how the offense was for Michigan, if you throw in their Heisman guy, you throw that guy in, he shuts their playbook down. He's a good running back, a running core that we shut him down. That opens up time and play possession it's a different, in my eyes, totally different game. They had to rely on the passing. With him, they don't do that. They rely on the run. We shut that shit down quick. Now they're scrambling. They're moving on. They may not have that game plan. That's what ifs. But I totally do not think, and I'll put money on this one, that Michigan comes close to beating, even if they play their best game. Best game versus best game, Georgia demolishes them. Not even a chance. Not even a chance, bro.
Now, let me ask you this, all right? Because, again, I don't know how you can watch your team get obliterated and then say that the same team that did that to you, okay, I guess that's why. That's, again, like you said, it's probably fan bias more than anything. Now, I'm saying it, but let me ask you this, and we talked about it, and now looking at the rankings and who they have, it probably won't happen. It's going to take an insane thing to get said team into the playoff. But maybe we're missing the one team that can beat Georgia, the team that nobody wants to see down in Alabama. Maybe they would have the best chance of doing it. And seeing that Ohio State's fifth, if TCU loses, if USC loses, I still think that's going to be the set four on what you have now, regardless of what happens this Saturday. But that would be fun as shit to have a Georgia-Bama round one playoff game.
Because I think the Alabama team was better last year, and they got dog kicked by Georgia in the national championship.
I don't think Georgia's close to what they were last year, though. I think they're a very good team. I think they're a very good team.
Have you watched of Georgia this year? Have you watched a lot of Georgia?
I've watched probably half of them. And again, the big ones, you're right. They came, but there's a lot that they look flat in. And that's more to say how good Georgia was last year. I'm not discrediting them this year. Again, they're the best team in the nation. They're number one for a reason. But that team last year was special. I don't think they're as dominant. And I think
so. Even with Ohio State, I said even if Ohio State makes the playoff, I think we get killed by Georgia. Maybe I think it's gonna be a closer game than Georgia versus Michigan. But I see Georgia taking it all because of what I've seen throughout the year. I'm like, holy shit! When they're firing on all cylinders, they're not stopped. They're not being stopped. I think Michigan is not going to so the thing is, everyone's like, fuck that. Put your pride aside. Root for Michigan as Big Ten. You want the Big Ten to always beat SEC. Fuck that shit. I'm going for Georgia. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't throw my hat away for the night and hope for Michigan to win. No, because that just fuels the fire, right? That doesn't bring recruits to Ohio State. It doesn't bring me recruits. That brings Michigan recruits. That doesn't put on for the Big Ten. That puts on for Michigan now to become a powerhouse in the Big Ten. Hell no, I don't want that to happen. Because right now, if you want to say it is what it is, that's the way they're trying to get it to, right? To the position. Because it's really, in the Big Ten, it's really only us and Michigan. And I'll be surprised. I think we got to talk about Nebraska as well, hiring a new head coach. But I think that's where I have. I think that what pisses me off more is seeing that cockiness in McCarthy waving the fans goodbye on the field. And his swagginess. Because I'm just like, in my head, I was like, I wish I was 6'4" and played defense because I would fucking rock him. Because he's not that fucking good. Like he at halftime going in, he was smiling, giggling, and I truly believe that's because that offensive coordinators, those offensive staff members were feeding his head. Yeah, we fucking got this, but that's a win for them as well. But I don't think he's that good. He's not special in my eyes. I don't even see him being a top draft pick in a year or two from now. He shouldn't enter the draft next year. I guarantee you that he's out here, and I'm hating right now, and that's okay because I'm pissed off still. But I think when you asked me as well, how do you feel about the ranking system? I want to see what you had to say first. What do you think about the rankings right now?
So I think I agree with it.
Let me say Georgia at 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, USC 4, Ohio State 5.
Yeah. And then again, we touched on Bama at 6, so they're probably done. I agree with it, man. And I love USC. I've watched them now back-to-back weeks win huge games.
Where did they come from?
Dude, and that's my thing. I'm looking at them. They've been good all year. Their only loss was a 1-point loss to Utah, who's a very tough team. They are all year, but they ran the Pac-12. And like I said,
Utah beat them this year
by 43-42. I just looked. And Utah Utah's never, they're not going to make the playoff. They're always going to be like in that middle of the rankings, 15, 16, whatever. But they're tough. They're just a tough team. Other than that, USC's been running it, and that's Lincoln Riley coming over, and it's Caleb Williams coming over. And again, we see it every year in pros and in college. Like if you have the guy at quarterback, these are the results you get. I will say again, watching them pretty closely the past couple weeks, their defense is a little shaky. I'm going to be very interested to see how they battle. As of right now, it would be Georgia, but I think I agree with. I mean, TCU's there. I don't know how they're going to handle Michigan, but I think USC is a fun team. I think it's fun. It's different. It's TCU and USC. It's cool to see these different teams, but I don't know. I dig it. And like I said, with the championship games coming this Saturday, I don't know if either TCU or USC will be knocked out if they do lose this Saturday.
Fuck, you just broke my heart with that one because I didn't know Utah played USC already and only beat them by 1. Because Utah's coming off of 63, putting up 63 on Colorado this week. That's our only hope. If Utah beats USC, that knocks them down. That could, and that no matter what, that puts them at 2 losses. It doesn't matter if it's a championship. That still puts them at 2 losses, and that's our only hope.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay, I was going to say. So you're thinking USC's coming back with
exactly.
And I think that game's Friday night, not Saturday. Yeah. I think that one's the one Friday night, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's not happening. If they've already played USC once, that USC's coming back with some fucking. I was really hoping to see Notre, because I did see that coming, right? I knew that was a game I was watching. It was Notre Dame, correct?
It was.
Yeah. So after that game, that's the only game I watched after that because I was like, all right, I need Notre Dame to win to bump USC back some to keep us in that spot of top, right? So I definitely watched that game. And you said he's new there, that quarterback?
Yeah, so he was at Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley. So when he left Oklahoma to come to USC, Caleb Williams transferred over with him, just followed his coach over. And they also got, if you remember last year, I forget his first name, but Addison, he was on University of Pitt, one of the best receivers in the nation, didn't declare for the draft. He transferred to UFC as well. So that, like, they just brought dudes with them. So, like I said, this offense is fun, and I really would love to see, like, how they fare against that Georgia defense. But they're definitely a fun team. And like I said, to have a guy like Caleb Williams, who's the best quarterback in the nation right now, put him in the playoff and let's see what they got.
Yeah, he looks like a grown ass fucking man. Like he's ready for these games. I just didn't see USC coming from anywhere. Like, this is what I love college football. Now, when it comes to my opinion of the rankings, this is why you pick college football, in my opinion, over the NFL. You can go the entire year not winning it, not losing a game, and that last game of the season could kill your entire season, right? That's why you love it, but that's why you also hate it. Because I think it's unfair that I go undefeated in my last game of the season versus number 2. Number 3 pushes me out of the top 4. That's kind of bullshit to me. But as a biased fan, this shit sucks. But as a true fan of the sport, I understand, like, win the fucking game. Get there. Earn your spot, right?
Yeah.
It's the schedule you pick. It's the schedule you get. It's a tough schedule. But it is what it is. You know, we were dominant throughout the year. And we should win that last game. Do I think we should jump all the way to 5? Do I think that USC with the loss to fucking Utah should put me at behind them? That's still the question, right?
So, and that's I truly do believe that if this USC Michigan game or Ohio State Michigan game was closer, if this was a last second field goal or last second touchdown, Ohio State's for it. Yep. I'd bet my life on it.
Yep.
But this is exactly what USC needed. They needed Ohio State to get beat pretty good. And then they, honestly, I watched that Notre Dame game. Final score was 38-27. It got close at times, but it really felt like that was USC's game the entire way. So they, along with Ohio State losing big, they proved we just got a huge win.
Yeah, I think still, no matter what, when we look at playoff competition, right? What's USC? Who have they played that's been ranked highly this year?
Well, so again, they, after Notre Dame last week was a top 12, I think they were 12 or 13. And then the week before, they went to UCLA, the 10th ranked team in the nation, and beat them as well. So again, they had their 2 biggest wins in the last 2 games of the season. But if you want to make the argument on who have they beaten, who has Ohio State really beaten?
Yeah.
Because we just said the Big Ten is non-existent. I think, they handled Penn State by 10 or 12 or whatever that was. But the rest of it, I mean, they didn't really beat anybody noteworthy either.
Yeah, but to jump from 2 to 5 in the USC, who hasn't played anyone really besides these last week top 20 teams, is, I mean, no matter what, you can't take, that's still a number 3 team in the nation. Like, this isn't like a top 12, you know what I mean? Like, this is a top team in the nation. Yeah. That's where I put it. But I'm not mad at it. We'll see C.J. Stroud probably one more time, maybe. Yeah. Not even. Yeah. He probably would declare for draft, and he's not going to play in a bowl game.
True.
So it's like, it's probably over to see C.J. But I think when I look that, so when does the new playoff bracket happen? Is that 23 next year?
I think it might be 24 even.
And
but I could be wrong. It could be 23.
And that's 8 or 6?
12.
12, right? So that's 2 rounds before you get champion.
So, yeah, and I'll have to look at it, but I want to say I think it's definitely 12 teams. I'm not sure if any of the teams get by. Maybe the 1 and 2 seeds get buys or something like that. But you're also going to have traditional home games, as to where, like, Ohio State sitting at 5 would play Alabama, I think. It would be in Ohio State. So that part I'm really excited for too.
Yeah, I like that. Instead of the fucking, you could be playing fucking
neutral
Vegas.
Site.
Yeah. So this brings up. Is there anything else last you want to say?
I would say, to be completely honest, I'm not sure if USC will lose, but if they do, I'm not sure if they'll get bounced. I think as an Ohio State fan, root like hell for Kansas State to beat TCU, because that's where you can make the argument that TCU might have. I guess they have a couple impressive wins, but I mean, you got to root for you got to root for USC and TCU, one of them or both of them to lose, and then you'll be in.
Yeah, I think too. Restating that stuff with Ryan Day, that when I looked at the game film, when I looked at the game as well, a lot of the penalties were on us as well. We looked so undisciplined. Yeah. We looked like shit. Like It just was an all around bad effort. I didn't watch Ryan Day's post game. I need to probably check that out, see what he said. But I think right now, start spring practice. Fuck that. Fuck the bowl. Fuck everything. It's spring practice. Let's get digging for next year. Another 365 for that Michigan game.
Yeah, yep.
And if he loses next year, he's out.
Right.
It's done.
That's
you can't.
Fair.
Yeah, you can't do that. Bring Urban Meyer. People were saying, I want Urban Meyer back. Bring him back in, baby. When you look at that game day in Ohio State, everyone took Ohio State. Only person who didn't was, of course, Charles Woodson. Of course, we went Michigan. My guys, Busting with the Boys, they were talking about it on their podcast today. So, of course, root for the Big Ten. I can't get down with that. I'm not doing that. Both of them are big-time Big Ten guys. Taylor Lewan, Michigan. Will Compton went to Nebraska, so he's hyped off Nebraska, the new hire. We'll see where he goes. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't that great at with the Panthers or his time in the NFL, but
no. I think he's one of these guys, and we've seen it before. I mean, Nick Saban was one of them. He went to the NFL, fell flat on his face, and is the best college football coach of all time.
Yeah.
Matt Rule turned Temple into a relevant program.
Yeah.
Before him, it was just, I mean, we knew Temple because we're right down the street from them, but as far as the nation goes, nobody knew what the fuck they were.
Yeah.
And he also, when he joined Baylor, I think you got to remember they were under a lot of heat, scrutiny with all the allegations. I don't think they could go to a bowl game their first year, and everything was going on. And he turned them into a national, no, I'm not going to say powerhouse, but a legitimate contending team. So again, the NFL wasn't cut for him. I heard a couple of reports of, his coaching schemes and behind the scenes motivational tactics that they just don't work on grown men that are, going to work and feeding their family. Like it's more for 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that you're trying to like mold into men. That makes sense. But Nebraska is a historic program. I know they haven't been great or even good really of late, but they're a historic program in a big time conference. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, you have to go watch. So they created the Bussin' Bowl, right, when it was Michigan versus Nebraska. And what's the guy's name again from Michigan? The possible Heisman winner guy?
Blake Corum.
Blake Corum, right? He was there, and they were talking to him after. They gave him the trophy for the Bussin' Bowl, and they were talking shit. Will was talking shit to him. He was like, whatever. And he goes, "Hey, man, I've been eating corn my whole life," and just walks out. And then Will and then start dying laughing because of the Cornhuskers. It's such a great insight. Like you see him just chilling there in his uniform, like after the game, like going back to like his apartment. Like it's just it's no matter what, it's a heartbreak. It's always gonna be fuck Michigan, and I'm a rider hard against fuck Michigan from here on out. But this brings the debate, since this week was rivalry week in college football. This brings the debate. What do you think are the greatest rivalries in sports today? I want to talk about all categories. I want to talk about college football, NFL, NHL, MLB, everything. Anything top three in your eyes?
Top three, I guess. Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, especially now since Coach K is gone. But it's Duke, UNC in college basketball. Always bad blood there. As for number three, I think it's tough. I think tradition would say Red Sox, Yankees.
Yeah.
Especially since both teams are now like, again, there's always off years where one of the two teams are bad or whatever. But I'm a baseball guy. So when the Red Sox and Yankees are good, those are two fan bases that hate each other. It's two teams that hate each other. It's got to be in my top three.
What about I didn't mean top three. I'm sorry. What about the NFL? Let's hit all categories. Yeah.
And that's really tough. I think the NFL. I feel like the NFL is different. I know that we talked about one that's kind of on the up right now is the Bills Chiefs. Like, can you say that as a big time rivalry right now? Maybe. I think as an Eagles fan, Eagles Cowboys are always up there. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the same. I've heard Cowboys fans say like we hate the Giants more than the Eagles. For you, it might not be the same because you were born in this area, but
no, I think my hate was stronger for the Giants. But now it's reverted back to the Eagles because you guys are good now.
Yeah, and again, I think two teams when they are both good, Steelers-Ravens, I think is maybe number one in the NFL.
Yeah. I think for me in the NFL, today's times, I love the Titans-Ravens rivalry that they had. Chiefs, of course. Chiefs and Bills is something new. But that Ravens-Titans brings on some fights at that game. It's pretty interesting. I love to see. In college football, of course, I'm going to Ohio State and Ohio State, Michigan. I always love and pay attention for low shout out, the Iron Bowl. I love watching that one. Even though Auburn sucked recently, but Auburn versus Alabama is always a good one for me. Mm-hmm. College basketball, I really don't give a fuck about, but I love watching, of course, Duke, UNC, but also Villanova, Duke or Villanova, UNC, whichever one it is. I mean, Villanova, whatever. Like, I love seeing that rival as well. Baseball, of course, I'm going to go Yankees, Red Sox all day long. And what did I miss? I don't know too much hockey. I don't hockey. I mean, hockey's just Rangers. Everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, the big Philly thing is the Penguins, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay,
people hate them, but I'm not the hockey guy either.
Okay, what about NBA? NBA nowadays is anything versus Golden State.
War. I was gonna say it really feels that way. Again, I think Sixers, Celtics, and even Sixers, Bucks. Again, coming from the Philly perspective, and it's because you have like again the players make the rivalries at the end of the day. So I think Sixers, Bucks, like you had the Giannis incident with him throwing ladders, being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is not shy on social media or on the court. Like he's gonna be talking. And then I think just like I hate the Celtics almost as much as I hate the Cowboys. Like
really,
they're oh my god, I can't stand them. And I think it's one of those. And now I think it's one of those things that it's not as big as a rivalry because the Celtics have just been killing the Sixers for the past couple of years. Yeah. It's just again, it's not a rivalry until you have back and forth, with the winning.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I love rivalry time. What do you want to touch on next? I think we got to touch on the linebacker DJ Johnson punch his fan after losing Oregon versus Oregon State. Now this looks very similar to the Oregon player. Was it Blunt?
It was very Blunt. Yeah,
Blunt punching, but he punched another player at Boise State. Now, is there any room for this to happen? Right? Like, is there like a reason? Is there anything that could say it was warranted? There's only one thing: is if he said the N-word. If that white kid said the N-word, then it's plausible for calls.
Yeah.
But no matter what, you just look at L, go to the locker room, take your L. Like the fans, that's his job. The fan's job is to do that, to do exactly that right now. So I think that it was funny as hell to see, and he didn't really even punch him like that. Like, he kind of missed and whiffed. So if you're gonna lay someone out, like Blunt knocked the fuck out that guy, bro. So and even in the video, you see the coach being like, "Come on, man! Like, don't do that. You can't do that. Like, you just lost it, man. Like, you just lost your opportunity." So what a fucking idiot, man.
And again, from the video, it kind of just seemed like the dude was running. Like, who knows what the hell he said?
Yeah,
like you said, if he says a couple different things, like it's warranted, but. I mean, I watched a little bit of that game. Oregon had a huge lead. They might have been up by like 21 at one point and just lost. So that was him
blowing it.
Exactly, and there's your emotion showing after the game. Where
who's
to say that kid just didn't say like fuck Oregon?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And he was just like, everything that's happened. Couple tough games during the season. We just lost to our rival after blowing a huge lead. They still had an outside chance, if you want to say, at a playoff, maybe But it's just you can't have that.
I mean, I've been in a position where after we lost the Holy Cross in football, that like I walked out and there was an incident going on. I was like, bet I want to fight someone else too. Like, let's get it. So I've been in that moment. But when you're at that stage, it's like just get off the fucking field and go in. And
before you get yourself in just
I know once he got in the locker room, he was just like, fuck me, bro. I can't believe I just fucking did that in front of everybody. So I get it. I think some honorable mentions that I want to lastly touch on in college football is LSU losing to Texas. I love seeing Brian Kelly lose. I love it so much because I fucking hate Notre Dame. But I like Notre Dame now because of the coach. I was fucking hoping for them to win. Of course, they never can win when we need it. But I love seeing Brian Kelly take a loss. Nothing better.
Yeah, to one of the probably the most mismanaged, just fucking disappointment of a team in college football in Texas A&M.
Yep.
They were supposed to be the team in the playoff at the end of the year, and they look like dog shit. So I don't know how the hell you lose that game.
Again, a fall off. Mississippi losing to Mississippi State 22-24. I don't know. Lane Kiffin got to figure this shit out. This might be a disguise of he's getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and that's – I don't know. I think he might even be signing an extension to stay there, but who's to say they didn't lose this game or everything's getting to the players?
Yeah.
And even the coaches, like, what the fuck is going to happen? Who knows? Something
that I don't know if we caught it last week, but NC State versus UNC. I think we may have said that win 30-27 over UNC.
Crazy.
And then Clemson, the down and out, losing to South Carolina 31-30. Now, this, in my opinion, is a thing that we have to keep an eye on with Spencer Rattler. I think Spencer Rattler isn't, to me, he's not a good quarterback. And I even saw that when he was on QB1 on the Netflix series. Kind of like a douchebag dick. Like, he's not someone I would want to play for, or play with as my quarterback. He is that, that regular quarterback, stereotype. He wants all the attention. He's an asshole. He's a type. That's the kind of guy he is. And we saw that with why he left Oklahoma. He was benched at Oklahoma. And he made a couple good throws. It was a good game, but he's definitely not. If he enters the draft this year, he's a mid-draft player maybe at that. So I think we have to see another year of him going forward.
Yeah, back-to-back huge
wins. Yeah,
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
If anything, now, build that momentum and ride it into next year and see if you can make a little bit of a noise.
See what happens. We can move on to the NFL. We were kind of at a good point. We could touch on it quickly. I think I just want to touch on really quick. Who's in trouble? My Cowboys, of course, on a great day. It was a good Thanksgiving day watching that. I mean, the score was 28-20. Didn't feel like that at all. I don't remember really what happened in that game because it was so long ago. But
really.
It was a good Thanksgiving. I think the Giants are definitely, in my opinion, in trouble with being dethroned by the Commanders. And I state this. I have $10 on the line with one of my students who's a big Giants fan. He, I feel like this is the excuse you get from the Giants fans all the time. We were hurt. Everyone says this. I feel like the Giants say this every fucking year. We're hurt.
It's never. If find me an NFL team that in mid to late November is really healthy.
True.
You're not going to find it. It hurts. It does hurt. Like some teams might be more banged up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your quarterback is still Daniel Jones. So unless you have Patrick Mahomes and he was hurt, I don't really want to hear that.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, I told you, bro. I said, I told you. Just take your ass whooping. When we lose, I take my ass whooping. I was like, in the group chat, I get all this shit from you Eagles fans. All the shit from the Giants fans. I get shit all the time. You guys at me in the group chat all the time about the shit. I was like, just take your ass whooping, bro. Like, you guys fucking lost. You got your ass beat. Saquon looked like shit. I think, if I remember, that CeeDee Lamb kind of stepped up. But who I was really impressed with to see finally get together because he's been hurt a while is Gallup. Seeing Gallup make some pretty tough catches. Yeah. He made those catches that were in traffic and holding onto the ball. And he's definitely that guy that is like he's a pro on the team that they look at of teaching you some things. And I know CD does as well.
I think I think we've talked about this before. Like, I hate the Cowboys more than anything, but there's always dudes that I don't root for, but that I like, that I wouldn't mind on the Eagles. And for whatever reason, Michael Gallup was always one of them. I feel like when he's on the field and he's healthy, like, dude is a game-changing talent. But I guess the Giants, listen, man, you've been saying this for weeks that they might not even go 500. I'm looking at the schedule now. It's Washington, then the Eagles, then Washington again, then at the Vikings. They might lose. If they lose those four, that's 6 straight losses.
That's what I'm saying.
They are who we thought they were.
Exactly. I'm saying. Now, this is a big week for the Commanders. Commanders are coming off of some big wins. Yeah. If they can get this win, I'm going to shit in the Giants.
Yeah, and that's what almost in the beginning of the season, like we were saying about the Giants, like they're just fucking winning.
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke, I think he sucks. He's horrible, but the dude fucking wins. I don't get it.
Yeah. I like him as a guy though. He's one of the bros, man. He's a bro.
Would you see what he does after every win?
Yeah, he buys the sneakers.
That's tough.
Yeah, He's a bro for sure. He's a bro. He's like, they're like, what are you doing after you go home? He's like, I'm putting some chew in my mouth and fucking going home. Yeah. That's all. Some dip, and that's all I'm doing, bro. I think lastly, the Broncos. I think they're out of it. I love to see that the defensive player cursed out fucking Russell Wilson's bitch ass. That was great to see. Who's in trouble? I think the Bills are in trouble with the Dolphins being on top of the AFC East.
Oh, yeah.
They're in some trouble. The Ravens as well. The Bengals are starting to come up. I think, Vaughn, you're in trouble, bro. They're not hanging on. With the recent loss to the Jacks 27-28. People aren't talking about this, how the Ravens are looking.
And I think vice versa to that. The Bengals are getting hot at the right time as the Ravens are like – Ravens have been struggling really all year. Yeah. I mean, I was looking at their games. Every one of their 4 losses were double-digit blown leads. Like, they could, and you can make an argument, should be undefeated right now. Yeah. But for whatever reason, they're blowing these leads and losing games. Bengals are getting hot. They also get Jamar Chase back this week. Yeah, Vaughn. Listen, I give Javon a lot of shit. I think it's time to start worrying.
Yeah, agreed. Now, is it possible for 3 teams from the same division to make it to the playoffs? Because this was the debate I was having too. I was like, I don't know if the Eagles, Cowboys, and the Giants could all 3 make it. Is that possible?
So, yes, and because they expanded the playoffs where we're used to having the 1 and 2 seeds get a bye, only 2 wild cards. Well, now you have 3 wild cards. So, in theory, you could have every team from the division in the playoffs. And that might even be the case if the season ended today. Let me pull it up real quick. If the season ended today, the Eagles would be the 1 seed, Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, or Commanders, all would be in the wild card. So every team from the NFC East would be in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay.
Crazy.
I don't think the Giants will still – so the Giants could still make it even at the bottom?
Yep. So there's 7 total seeds. So as of right now, the Giants are the 6th seed and the Commanders are the 7th seed.
And they would have 2 wild card games?
Yes. So how it would be – so the Eagles would have a bye. The Vikings would play Washington. The Niners would play the Giants. And then Dallas would go to Tampa Bay and play Tom and lose.
Come on, bro. Tampa Bay just
if that is the game, if the Buccaneers play the Cowboys, 1,000% we're putting money on it.
Okay. If that's the case,
but that's what it would be today. So yeah, they could all make it.
Okay. Fuck. I don't count that as a playoff though. Do you count a wild card as playoff?
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah,
it's a little different. Like you can almost make that argument for baseball because they have, the wild card round to like then get in. But this is, every other divisional winner except for one team is playing a postseason game. I think for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see where it goes. Hey, anything else you want to touch on, Big?
In terms of NFL?
Anything sports-wise?
I do. I want to talk about, real quick, your boy Deion Sanders. I don't know if you saw, but it looks like he very well may be leaving, as we talked about before, to one of the Power 5 schools. I heard earlier today it's down to Colorado, Cincinnati, and USF. I don't know if he'll go to South Florida, but Cincinnati's an interesting one, and I heard that Colorado made him a very, very, very enticing offer. Yeah, because that's been a program that's been pretty bad, I think, for the past couple of years. They were relevant when they had who is now the Michigan State coach, so they want to turn that around and be relevant. I think Deion might be leaving, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that because we both said he will probably stay to try to build something. Apparently, he wants to climb the ranks.
I mean, in my opinion, I think that is kind of what is the word for it? Hypocrisy for him to get up and leave right now. I would love to see if he does leave, what he says about his decision to leave, because that's going to be in question no matter what, right? People are going to question that decision the entire time. But I think right now it's just so early for HBCUs and for that division as a whole to build it up. Yeah, you built up Jackson State as a whole. Like you built up a program there that's elite in itself in that program. but what about everyone else? And I think that was his main intention of going in. Let's build up all of this, all of the HBCUs. Let's build up this whole division to be something that we see on prime time. If he leaves within 2 years, we no longer see HBCU on ESPNU anymore.
You're right.
So I think that he's not making this decision for money. He's not making a decision for greed. I don't think in no way. I don't think it's for a professional as well. It's just another opportunity that he would take. I wouldn't be mad at if he takes it. But at the same time, it's like, you kind of were on a mission towards this and you're kind of backtracking on that mission. Like stay afloat and stay on course. But I would love to see where he goes. I won't be mad at it. Anywhere he goes, he's going to turn it around.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be the fun part. And like you said, there's two parts of this. It's one, I'm never going to blame a guy for succeeding and falling out in his role and then getting something better, right? In anything, in life. I would never blame anybody for moving on to better their career. But like you said, it is a little different when, one of the reasons that he said he got into coaching was to really put these teams and these schools on the map. And you're right, he did that to an extent. But you're also right in saying it's only been 2 years. They're not going to get the same. It's not Deion Sanders. So you're not going to get the same, national credibility that they're getting right now. No. I can't blame them, but you're right. I think people are definitely going to question him. Like, yo, you said you were on a mission. Why did you cut it short? Yeah. And if the answer is I have, it's been my dream to be a powerhouse coach for one of these Power 5 teams. I don't think I can blame him. But
he has to own up to.
Yes.
Yeah, I am leaving early. Hey, he was bringing in drafts. He was bringing in NFL scouts into this picture, right? He was having their own. He was having a combine for these players. You get rid of him at the end of the day. All these efforts and it's a larger issue, right? It's an issue of equity. It's an issue of all these different things. Of we deserve to be at the spotlight too. Of HBCU players and these players who maybe didn't get to go to Power 5 but are still Power 5. He always talks about the players, right? Are the facilities up to par? Are the players up to par to play with these big time fives? And he always said the guys on the outside are the same quality of an athlete. Where you have distinction is inside, and that's the lineman, defensive lineman, the linebackers, like that. That's where you see distinction happen. So it's going to take a while for these players, and let's not forget he brought in the top recruit of the incoming class at what was it, wide receiver or cornerback? Is he wide receiver?
Corner. I think he's a corner.
Yeah, bringing the quarterback in to that school. And he only went there not for the school, not for the mission.
No.
He knew the fucking great was there. He knew the GOAT would be able to coach him up and make him a GOAT. And I would say, if he leaves, players are leaving too.
Yeah, I was going to say that kid 1,000% is blanking on his name, and I apologize, but he's leaving. He's going wherever Deion's going. And again, I can't blame him for that either. He wants
his sons.
Yeah.
His two sons, the quarterback. I think the quarterback will stay, but he has a son that's a defensive back as well.
Yep.
That's fucking disgusting too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we'll see.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. What else you got, Brody?
No, I think that's it for me. A big championship weekend in college football. I just fucking love college football. But
dude, I'm not excited. I'm telling you, bro.
No, I know you're not.
I did not watch any sports this whole weekend. Like I was at the gym, I saw it on TV, and I was like, I got to prepare for this, and I was like, I'll go watch it Tuesday and watch the highlights. Yeah. I just don't give up. I already saw my Cowboys win. I don't know if you want to talk about the Eagles almost taking a loss, but
here we go with the almost. Put up 40 points. Jalen Hurts MVP, national TV, but it's an almost loss.
Hey, A-Rod got hurt, right?
Yeah, and thank God he did. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm hoping he's out. Jordan Love looked all right, and Rodgers, man, he just looks like he's cooked. He needs to hang it up.
But we play great.
Listen, Eagles Titans this week. And I don't want when the Eagles win, I don't want to hear, the Titans aren't that good, because that's all it's been this year. This is a division-winning team.
The Titans are coming off of a bad loss to the Bengals as well, so they have something to prove. I think they're coming.
They do.
Something. Are you playing them home or away?
It'll be. I think it's in Philly.
Okay, so they're on the road too, and they're coming to a hostile environment. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game.
It is gonna be a good one. Yeah, 1:00. It'll be good.
Yeah, you guys will win that game. I don't see you guys losing that one.
Who's Dallas playing?
Dude, fuck if I know, bro. I've been out of it, man. I'm not gonna
lie
to
you. Football. They play the Colts, so that'll be.
Yeah, but the Colts are the same shit as as Green Bay. That they've been playing to subpar teams, and then they're right against up a loss or a win. So let's see how it goes. I mean, the Cowboys were coming off of some good defensive play too. So, hey guys, it's been another episode of In Those We Trust podcast. Please continue to check us out on all platforms: Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Find us everywhere. Instagram at We Trust _podcast. Liam is
at Liam Stokes 11.
Thank you guys. Appreciate the love. Continue support.
Yes, sir.